Hello and welcome to The Hero Spouse. I'm Kendra Ruth, here to answer one of your questions about marriage and midlife crisis. Today we have an anonymous female left behind and forward-moving spouse. Her bomb drop is May 12th of 2022 and a date of marriage of 2007. She has an at-home MLCer who is a low-energy wallower. She says, "We've been married 15 years and have small children. We're both 41. My husband acts like he was taken by a spaceship several months ago. Here's the confusing thing. He still lives at home. He's a wonderful father and a responsible provider. He's respected in his career. After some initial raging anger, he's polite and respectful with me. However, his attraction toward me seems to be non-existent. He's stopped touching me and seems to have no interest in being near me. Instead of a woman, he's becoming committed to sports and a healthy lifestyle. There could be a woman, but if so, I don't see any signs. How should I handle my at-home MLCer who's not being awful, but is totally checked out for me?" So there's a few things you can do here. First, he may not be willing to have you go on his healthy lifestyle, sporting events, outings, runs, that sort of thing, but you could offer. And the level of not wanting you to go might be a clue about whether there's somebody else as well. But I wouldn't start with that. What I would have you do is, I want you to work on detachment. I want you to work on getting your own life, living your life to the fullest without him. That doesn't mean separate lives, but it means, hey, you know what? There's Debbie Downer over there. I'm still going to be happy, and I want him to see you as that. And I want you to fake it till you make it. And here's the thing that this isn't, and this gets confusing. Some will think that this is, oh, we're just going to pretend we're a happy family. What that is where you go out into the world and you lie to everybody, and you make everyone think everything is perfect. You go on family vacations with other family members, and they don't know. You pretend everywhere you go. This isn't about pretending. And I want you to really work on do things for yourself so that you can find happiness here and so that you can be more authentic with it when you're cheerful around him. Because I want you to be a mirror, and I want him to see happiness. I want him to see joy, because we do learn by example, and we can be helped by the moods around us. And what I want him to see is, I don't want you to try to perk him up. I don't want you to try to ask him questions, unless it's what would you like for dinner. But I don't want you to, right now at least, be bringing up, you know what, honey, you seem depressed. Now, if he brings it up, tread carefully, but yes, you may have that conversation. 2 weeks go by, it may be more like you initiating it if you bring it up again. And if you do, be very gentle. Hey, have you thought any more about this? It's okay if you haven't. But I want him to be able to talk to you about it, and he may not do that for a long time, if ever. But you're going to be a safe place for him. And part of being a safe place is being full of joy and lightheartedness, because right now, with an at-home MLCer who is a low-energy wallower, who is basically depressed, that's a weight on everybody. And so he may be Debbie Downer, but you're becoming it for him as well. And I want you to think about some other things you can do with him. You could try some other things. You could try the Laura Doyle style. If you don't know what that is, look up The Empowered Wife. There are pros and cons to it, and too much to go into here. But if you're interested, you can look that up. And also consider his love languages. You just don't want to force those on him. So I would look into love languages, Gary Chapman's The 5 Love Languages, and figure out what you think his love language is in. And then start showing him love in that language. Now, be careful. If his love language is touch, he's not going to be receptive to it from you. So what you might want to try instead is, you know what, you look like you're really tired. Would you like a massage? Or when you walk, let's say you're walking past the chair that he's in, you just give him a light tap. But you want to be very careful, because he's put up an intimate boundary, and he's going to get annoyed if you cross it. And so work with what you've got. Touch is not the most common, though. So see if it's something like acts of service. What can you do for him? And you want to be really careful because you don't want to be jumping through hoops for him. You're working on getting a life for yourself. And that is not because I'm preparing to be separate from him. It's because I'm a separate person and I can choose happiness regardless of what other people around me are feeling. And that's detachment. So you need to be able to detach yourself from the emotions of the depressed person for whom you are one of the caregivers. So imagine that he's a patient of yours instead and you were a caregiver. You would want to come in with a smile so that you could help that patient. And you would, when that patient is grumpy and grouchy at you, you would work to not letting it affect your day. For one thing, oh, that's just Mr. Grumpy. He's always like that. And you'd go to your next patient and sometimes it'd be hard, but sometimes you're like, I just know he's like that. And you can shove it off. And that's harder with your spouse in the same household, with your kids, with small kids. But it's what's got to happen. So I want you to work on that level of detachment where you can be working on your own joy, working on your own happiness. If he wants you to join him in his healthy lifestyle, great. If you want to join him in it separately, in other words, he goes for a run sometimes, hey, you know what? I know you don't want me on your runs, but I'm gonna take it up myself. Or healthy eating, that sort of thing. That would be showing an interest in the things he's doing, but they might not be compatible. That's not always a bad thing, okay? So I hope this is helpful, and I hope I've given you a few ideas of things you can do, but it is a long haul. You're working with somebody who's depressed. And when he's depressed, he doesn't feel that way anyway. There could also be other issues like low T going on. And right now, he's kind of removed right of wife, so you don't get the option to say, you know what, have you had this checked? Because he's going to get all annoyed at you. So you have to work with what you've got. So I will see everybody else in the next question.